Okay, welcome to the new spin-off show of ATB. This is going to be ATB All the Belts, and just give you a little overview of what we're going to be doing. We're going to be talking wrestling, WWE, AEW, New Japan, Impact Wrestling, and a local promotion called Chaotic Wrestling. If you don't know about that, it has been a launching pad for stars in all of wrestling. There's Kofi Kingston, Sasha Banks, Ivar, Oni Lorcan, T Bar, and Josh Briggs, all underneath the WWE brand. Bear Country and MJF in AEW. Matt Taven and Flip Gordon on ROH, and they've been really good. They do the New England professional wrestling school out of there, and then they have a little promotion like once a month, and it's a really good take. What do you think, Tyler?
I mean, yeah, we've been going since I was probably like 5 years old, and
Yeah, a lot of the stars that have made it. We didn't see. I think we saw Sasha Banks' last match in Chaotic Wrestling, and then we didn't see Kofi Kingston, but everyone else that we
yeah, Kofi was
mentioned.
like right before we started going.
Yep. So it's a really good take. So we're going to be talking wrestling. We're also going to be talking about. So it's all the belts. So we're talking about championship belts for wrestling, for boxing, and for the UFC.
Yeah,
And just on the UFC last night was a fight night. Misha Tate made her return after being out for 4 years. She had two kids. She came back and she won last night. I'd like to
looked great.
congratulate her. She looked
Yeah,
good. She looked good. All right. So we're doing this mainly to preview the Money in the Bank pay-per-view that's on tonight. So what do you think? What's the overview of the whole pay-per-view for tonight? We'll go over each match after, but do you have a little thing you want to say about it before?
I mean, expectations should be high just because it's the first real show with. I mean, WrestleMania had fans, but it wasn't full. This is like, especially with what SmackDown was like. Hopefully, they can carry that over. I look solid. These pay-per-views are usually pretty good for Money in the Bank. Usually doesn't always pan out for who wins the stuff, but the show itself is usually pretty good. So I
Yeah,
hope the
definitely,
same.
definitely the ladder matches are usually pretty exciting because a lot of people in it, and whenever you have ladders in a match, anything can happen. So we'll start off with the WWE Championship match: Bobby Lashley versus Kofi Kingston. Do you have anything to say about that, and then give us a prediction?
Uh, should be pretty obvious who's gonna win. Lashley. I don't watch. I haven't watched Raw very often for the last like 6 months to a year, but I have seen stuff, and I'd say the story going into this is probably one of the better ones that has happened in quite some time. So
Yeah,
do I?
so we'll tell people the Raw and SmackDown we've kind of been a little off on because AEW is such a good product and because they've been in front of fans. Now that WWE is coming back in front of fans, we think it's going to be a lot better because it was getting pretty
SmackDown's been good,
stale.
but Raw has been unwatchable for probably this whole year. Even honestly, since they went to the Thunderdome, I feel like the empty gym shows were somehow better. The writing was a bit better there, but it's been rough.
Yeah, so we're gonna get back into the WWE, so we'll be able to speak more on it. I mean, basically, we've been watching the pay-per-views and NXT leading
Yeah,
up to
and
this
not always
moment.
NXT consistently. So
Yeah. So tonight, I think, yeah, it's pretty obvious they're gonna give it to Lashley. Unfortunately, I think he's a boring champion.
I like him, and I think that he is deserving of getting a run with the belt, but not much has happened. It's not totally his fault. It's more the environment he's in. Like, there's not many guys that are really. It's like they had Drew and Braun. Braun's released, so they had to stretch out Drew as his challenger for 3 months, and now it's like they're not really sure what else to do.
Yeah, that's there. There's been some questionable decisions with their people they've fired over the last few months.
I mean, for God's sakes, they fired Aleister Black, and then we're like, oh crap, why'd we do that?
Right. They just had like a month of promotions of him coming back, and then they get rid of him, and then he shows up on AEW. It's
They basically promoted his debut for another company. It was
yeah, basically. And I don't know. I think we've talked about this before. I really think Vince McMahon needs to hang it up and
yeah.
turn over the
That's a
keys to someone
conversation for
else.
another time
Yeah.
because we could go on for over an hour.
Right. So okay. Unfortunately, I think Bobby Lashley's gonna win. You like it. I don't
So
really, but I don't think Kofi
Kofi's
kicks in. He's had his run.
he had a great run, and I think maybe if it was a different time, I could see him winning. But right before SummerSlam, they're going to keep it with Lashley and want to have a big match.
Yeah,
For what I've
huge
heard,
match.
they wanted Lesnar. Probably not going to happen. I've heard Goldberg, which I don't want to see, but we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, they have to quit bringing back the
It's
former old
it's
guys
not a
that are just
super
going to
crazy.
wrestle once
Yeah,
once
it's
a
not
year.
a crazy surprise when Goldberg comes back every 6 months. You know,
Right.
So,
Yeah, I mean, maybe if they had The Rock show up once in a while, that would be okay. John Cena, but to keep bringing Goldberg back
it's been
every
Goldberg
time,
and
it's getting
Lesnar,
a little stale.
and people get upset because he ends up winning, and it's not always like he beat the Fiend for the belt for no reason.
Yeah, it was good when he first came back, but yeah, it's
And
getting a
like when he
little
came back and
tired now.
squashed Dolph Ziggler, that was fun. But
So okay, so we both think Lashley's gonna win, although I think I would rather see Kingston win, but
Me
it's probably
too,
gonna be
but,
Lashley. So we have the Universal Championship, Roman Reigns versus Edge. Again, bringing back a retread. I mean, Edge is in decent shape, but he looks old. But I don't know. I think Roman Reigns is gonna win that because
I'd say Reigns. I wouldn't be completely shocked if Edge won, but it already seems they're trending in direction of Edge and Rollins for SummerSlam. This is probably, other than the ladder match, the most anticipated match for this. This is what was supposed to be the main event of Mania that, we got that great triple threat from. Edge has been good. Reigns has been probably the best thing on WWE. And they've had a good build to this. So
he has been, even though I don't really like the head of the table thing. And Paul Heyman, they really need a superstar who could take care of themselves and speak and promote
it's not
promos
even
themselves.
Reigns cuts the promos himself. It's Paul Heyman's just there. And it's good that he's there, I guess, but it doesn't serve much of a purpose. But I still think he's been great. And
I like Paul Heyman. It's I don't know. I don't love him with Roman Reigns.
And it could introduce an interesting story if they want to do something with Lesnar and Reigns.
Right. Yeah. If Lesnar comes back, it's like, oh, who's he gonna take under his wings now? Is he gonna stay with Roman Reigns, or is he gonna go back to Lesnar? That could he could try to get them together under one faction and then have everything break loose from there. That could actually be a pretty good story.
Would be much better than when Paul Heyman turned on Brock Lesnar for Big Show. That's Survivor Series like 20 years ago that no one remembers, which made no sense, but yeah.
All right, so next is the Raw Women's Championship, Charlotte and Rhea Ripley again. WWE just loves Charlotte Flair. It's gotten
to the point I don't even care if Charlotte wins. It's just we've seen this match 500 times, and the story going into it is they're doing it again because the last one ended in DQ, and it's not even like a special match. It's the exact same match. They could have done no holds barred or something, a steel cage for God's sakes. It's the same exact match.
Maybe they bring up a stipulation before the show starts. Maybe
I hope so, but
yeah.
And I mean, when Rhea beat Shayna for the NXT title like 2 years ago, she was like on top, and even now she's kind of fizzled to me and not the same.
Yeah,
her run so far hasn't been much.
Yeah,
for me to care about.
As we talk all the time, they definitely seem to ruin careers of people that they bring up from NXT. They have this great run in NXT. They're got a great following. Then they bring them up to SmackDown Raw, and they just don't know how to use them right.
And it's not like she hasn't been treated badly. She's she won the belt, but
it was like just keep having her fight Charlotte. they
I
can't
feel
bring
like the
someone else.
aura of hers
But
a little bit
that
taken
could
away.
lead up to something else I have in my notes that we've both heard rumors about. Becky Lynch possibly making a return tonight, so maybe she could have interfere or something in that match, and then they end up having a triple threat match at SummerSlam possibly. So there are rumors of Becky Lynch
Give
making
Charlotte
a
some time
return
off,
tonight. She just had time off. She just
she
came
can go
back
get
like
another surgery.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So next we have the men's Money in the Bank ladder match with Ricochet, John Morrison, Riddle, Drew McIntyre, Big E, Kevin Owens, Shinsuke, and Seth Rollins.
I'll let you start on this one.
Okay. Well, I don't know
if you want to go individual on the people in it. Or...
So, like you said, they could be leading up to a Seth Rollins Roman Reigns at SummerSlam, but
I was saying Seth and Edge.
Oh, Seth and Edge,
because they've been teasing that.
Yeah,
but that doesn't. Rollins could obviously do something with the case and be doing his own thing.
Well, that's what I'm wondering, if does he need the case for them to do that? So that's why I'm thinking he won't win, because they can promote that without him having the Money in the Bank.
Yeah, and especially since he, at the end of SmackDown, he took the case down. That's almost always a meaning of they're not winning.
Yeah, I think because they've been pushing Riddle so much, I think he has a real good chance of winning it tonight.
I agree,
and I feel so bad for Ricochet. Ricochet is such a great wrestler, and he just has not been given a push since he's been up on the main roster.
There was like the 1 year, his first year, great.
And but he lost it. He kept losing every match.
Like he won the U.S. belt for like a month, lost it, and then he gained some traction. He fought Lesnar at a pay-per-view for the title, got squashed in like 20 seconds, and since then it's just been a downward spiral. And this month they've finally been given a chance. Do I think it's gonna really lead to something big? It's hard to believe that it will, but who knows?
I mean, Drew McIntyre is always, he's very promotable.
I get it, because they did the thing where he lost, and now he can never have a shot at the title again. But
right, if he has the case, he can.
I believe they said that even
anyone,
if he has the case, he still can't fight Lashley for it. I think they said that, but it's WWE. They could completely forget that. So I don't want him to win, because it's been a lot of Drew in the main event scene, which he's great, but it'd be nice to have someone different.
Yeah, so we both agree. We think Riddle, but if
not
Riddle, I think Rollins.
If not, I just because it's WWE, I could see Drew. I think a sleeper for it would be Shinsuke.
Really?
Because they're giving him a bit of a push here.
Yeah,
but
also I mean, Kevin Owens he's been getting a pretty good run.
He'd
lately.
be great, but I feel like it wouldn't happen.
You always got to think who's going to be the main eventer at SmackDown. I mean, at SummerSlam. So
for what I've heard, it's going to be Reigns and Cena. So, and Money in the Bank, most of the time it doesn't mean like they're going to feud for the belt. It's good. They're, like a lot, for example, like Daniel Bryan had the case for like 6 months, and he was in a feud with like random guys, and he was losing and losing and losing. He wasn't in the title scene until he cashed in. So obviously,
I'm always hopeful that they cash it in tonight. I love when they win it and then they cash it in the same night.
The best was probably Ambrose. That was honestly the last good cash in.
I really don't like when it goes on and on and on, especially when it gets close to a year.
Sometimes it'd be good.
It's
the Rollins one was good when he finally did it at Mania, because it was like the common thing of like he had a chance, but Ambrose messed it up for him, and then he finally cashed in at Mania, which is probably the best one ever. But I would like to see eventually someone like having to wait the whole year. Like I was thinking they would have done that with Miz, where he wouldn't have gotten the shot till like tonight because he didn't get to cash in and then loses. But of course he ended up winning the belt for some reason.
That's just a long time to push taking the case for a full year. And then having people, challenge you. Oh, if I beat you, then you lose it, this and that. Because they always do that. They just can't leave that guy alone for a year.
Yeah, and once again, we could talk for over an hour about missed opportunities with the Money in the Bank. But yeah, I'd say Riddle. and you could do a feud with him and Orton going into SummerSlam about the case, maybe even over the case. So
Yeah.
I think that would pan out the best and make the most sense. I don't think
So final call. Who you going with?
Riddle.
Riddle.
I'm
I'm
also
gonna
a
switch
slight.
it up. I'm gonna go with Seth Rollins.
All right. Another small one, which they could do, but I don't think is they could do that same feud with if Morrison won it and him and Miz fought over it. But
Oh yeah, that'd be good.
and I'd like
Good.
to see Morrison get the opportunity, but I'd stick with Riddle on this one.
All right, so the next match, women's Money in the Bank ladder match: Asuka, Naomi, Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross, Liv Morgan, Selena Vega, Natalia, and Tamina.
Wow. I had okay. uh, this is okay. I guess Alexa would win because she's the biggest one there. I really pray to God, hopefully, that this match just doesn't become a giant like episode of Goosebumps or something, and they just do a bunch of crap.
Right.
It's the Alexa Bliss thing has been just god awful.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the Sister Abigail thing at first, but I'd like to see her return,
especially since they
her
switched,
normal self.
Basically took the Fiend's gimmick and put it on her, and Bray Wyatt hasn't been on TV since WrestleMania.
Right.
That makes maybe
Asuka
Nikki Cross
always has a chance because they love her, and she's always
great.
Been a great champion.
But she won it last year. I don't think she needs it again.
I'm gonna go with Alexa Bliss. Yeah, we're both thinking the same way, huh?
For fun purposes of this, I'll go with Nikki Cross.
Okay.
Because it fit the gimmick that they're trying to run with her.
Yep. So SmackDown Tag Team Champion Rey and Dominic Mysterio versus the Usos.
It makes most sense for the Usos to win this. If they're gonna, they want them reigning with Roman. So
right. Oh yeah, having all the belts.
I don't see a reason why you wouldn't put the belts on them. Once again, it's WWE, you never know, but it makes most sense to me. The one thing maybe that throws it off is that the Usos pinned them on SmackDown, and a lot of times whoever gets the upper hand before the pay-per-view doesn't win. But Mysterio's had a good little run. It was cool. I don't think they need to hold on to him. It'd be better for the Usos, and then Dominic and Rey can do some more single stuff, which is
I think it's got to be getting close for Rey to hang it up. He's been beat up pretty good over his career, and
like 8 knee surgeries.
Let Dominic have a Dominic's career and not be under his wing the whole time. So I'll go with the Usos too. Hey, man, we're so boring. We're agreeing on everything. The Raw Tag Team Championship. AJ Styles and Omos versus the Viking Raiders.
This is one this is probably the least predictable one, maybe to me, other than like the ladder matches. It could go either way if they want to break off AJ and Omos, which I feel like is the right move. Because
I think Omos needs to be, they both need. They need
single. AJ to be up in the top again because they're suffering without stars.
Yep,
and they're kind of just they've barely been on TV with the titles, and Viking Raiders are a great option, and they actually have quite a bit of tag teams on Raw, so they could do some good stuff with them. And like, if they're gonna keep AJ and Omos together, I feel like if they want to keep Omos strong, they're not gonna take the belts off them for a while, and I feel like that's not the right move. You can do, I don't want it to be, but they could do AJ and Omos at SummerSlam or something. I don't know. Omos is big. He's a good prospect and all that, but he hasn't shown too much. He had his first singles match in WWE last week, so there's still a lot to go. It could go either way, but I'd take the Viking Raiders.
Yeah, I like the Viking Raiders too. Wow, this is bad podcast.
Riveting podcast. Where
it's better when you argue with people. Well, so okay, going forward, let us know what you think, what you'd like us to do. If you think doing a preview show is good, or if you'd rather have us dissect a pay-per-view after the fact, that way you have more time to comment on it, because this is kind of short. The show's in a couple hours, and So a lot of this will be irrelevant by the time some people get it.
Yeah,
So I
most people
think
see it.
so we're going to look maybe if we could get it down where we can both get together at the same time, maybe we can do a pre and post for the big pay-per-views and
yeah, maybe even we could at some point do like a live stream after, like a
yep,
quick
we
like
could do
reactions or
yep, we
something.
could try to do that. But hit us in the comments.
Let us know.
This is to find us, go to atbshow.com. That'll bring you directly to the YouTube channel. On our bio, look in the link. It'll give you you click on
it's a link tree. Yeah,
link
gives
tree.
you everything you need to know
all
about us. YouTube, Facebook, social media, all that.
Look for
website.
me every day on the Rubba Shoes wrap up on Facebook
The
and
ATB
Instagram.
Show, Instagram. Yep.
ATB at the buzzer will be recorded. Usually gets recorded and posted on Monday nights.
That'll
this
be
week
up
it should be up tomorrow night. And we look forward to doing more of these shows and having people get interested and share, comment. And that's going to do it for us for this Money in the Bank preview episode. And thanks for joining us. See you next time.
Yep. See ya. Thank you.